Welcome to another Beyond Budget tutorial. In this one, we're going to look at adding a rewards credit card account to your budget. If you haven't seen the other tutorials or you're not familiar with this product, I recommend you watching the overview tutorial first and the forms tutorial before jumping into this one. So the example we used in the forms tutorial is here, and I'm going to show you how to get a rewards credit card account started. Now, why would you want a rewards credit card account added to your budget? The idea is to earn rewards. I'm not going to advertise any of them here, but do a search for the most popular rewards credit cards and see that you can earn basically cash rewards for the spending that you do. The key is to pay off the card every month, the complete balance. That way, you never pay interest. Now, this can be difficult to know. You could easily spend too much on the card and then not have the funds available to pay it off the next month. So, putting all that information into your Beyond budget, running the simulation can really help you make sure that you have those funds available and the card is paid off every month and you're not overspending. So let's go into that, right? We already have the example in here from the previous video. And we're going to move some of this spending to our rewards credit card. Basically, you're going to keep all your bills. For this example, mostly credit cards are going to have to be out of a checking account. Most of your bills probably will. So we just want to move, let's say, the subscriptions and the regular spending over to the rewards credit card. I do not recommend copying and pasting into different categories, right? But if you're going to paste it into the same category, that is okay, right? So subscriptions directly into these subscriptions because they have the same info there. Spending, move this over there also. And we'll delete it here. So now all the subscriptions and shopping, non-bill related spending is all going to go out of a rewards credit card and earn rewards, right? In the heading, we now need to switch this to yes. Do you use a rewards credit card? We'll come back to this one here. So the balance, let's say you're adding a new card. So your balance is going to be 0 to start. The payment cycle end date is where it's going to calculate the balance due the following month. So in this example, we are at February 18th. The payment cycle end date, we'll put February 23rd, which is what's in there. The payment due date is the 18th, usually a few days before the payment cycle end date. But you're paying the previous month's balance, which in this case is 0. Right? If you're in the middle of using a card, you're going to have an amount due here from the previous month. And that's where this comes into play. It's asking if you've already made the payment this month. So if you haven't made the payment, you have an amount due, you're going to put no, and it's going to have the first payment be this amount. If you already made the payment, it's going to ignore this amount, and it's going to get your first amount from the payment cycle end date. That's the amount due for the first payment. So we're going to put yes because it's a new card. There is no previous payment. Let's put a limit at, let's say, $10,000. This is the limit that the card is allowing you to spend. And what's going to happen is in the results, it's going to track and make sure you're not going over this limit. So it's important to track that. All right, so all the spending has been moved over to the rewards card. Set up the heading. Now let's hit run. Okay, so this is a warning set up so we don't get an error. So because the payment was already made this month, we said yes, it wants this date to come after the payment cycle end, right? This is supposed to be March 18th will be the first payment. And that payment amount, again, will come from the balance on this date, not this amount, because there is nothing due at this time. All right. Okay, so now it's going to run through, create a transaction table for the checking account and the rewards credit card. It's going to make transactions between the two to pay off the rewards card balance every month. And we'll take a look at the results in a few minutes when this completes. Okay, so it's done running, and it brings us to the results tab here. So now we're going to have, this is the checking account table. You see a lot less spending in here because we moved it over to the rewards card, which is shown here on the table V tab. So now you can see the card balance going up. It's going to calculate the first payment. Remember, the payment end date is the 18th. Or sorry, cycle end date is the 23rd. The payment due date is the 18th. So the 23rd here, it calculated the first amount due, which is going to be $14.71. It's going to make that payment to pay off that balance on the 18th, shown here. And on 3/23, amount 2 that's going to be due in April is going to be 4507, right? So this amount here, this payment on the 18th, is also going to have to show up out of your checking account, right? And here it is, 3/18, 1471. Okay, so it's going to make sure that your card's paid off every month, and those payments are going to show up out of your checking account. And then you can look at the results to make sure that you were able to make that payment. All right, so this looks good. One thing when you start moving your spending to a rewards card is that it shifts all that money out of your checking account back a month, right? Because you're not making that payment till a month later. So it actually makes your budget better at the start. That's only kind of a one-time thing, but if you saw the results at the end of the previous tutorial, the forms tutorial, you know this is the same amount of spending, yet this results look better. We didn't go below the buffer here. There's more extra money up front, and that's because the payment is moved back for that spending an entire month. So there's more money up front available. So I'm going to skip over to the rewards credit card results tab. So this is showing our balance over time, over the 18 months. It goes up, and then this big drop is the payment, right? It goes up. The payment is all that previous month spending, all the previous months. So it's going to get the zigzag pattern here. So we do have a problem here. You can see it goes above the limit. We have a $10,000 limit on the card. The credit card company's not going to like that, to go above their limit. That's also what this table here is showing, all the times you went over $10,000, so a number of days here. So why did it do that? Why is it spiking here? And these are the yearly spending events, right? So this is, looks like August, possibly around that time frame. Another one in December, right? So we had one in there for Christmas, vacations. Let's go back and look. All right, so a few $1,000s. The anniversary was September, Christmas, December. August is the big summer vacation, and there's also a skiing trip for January. So that's what these spikes are. So you would have to make changes, right? We cannot do all that spending on the rewards card because we're going to go over our limit. See it right there. And over here is a list of all the payments. the payment dates, the amount. It's all there for you, and you can see the jumps here. Remember, the September was an event. That's why the balance is higher, or from August, I should say. December, there's extra money for Christmas, so you have to pay that in January. That's why it's higher. But this is what it looks like when you have a rewards credit card added to your budget plan. It's fairly simple, actually. One more thing I'll share about the form is you can see that there's a statement here. What this is saying is that if you were going to do your spending weekly, a weekly amount instead of a daily, if you put weekly allowance in here, the program is going to look for that. It'll split it up between months, right? Payment cycle end date. So around the 23rd, it'll split up the spending from the beginning of that week and the end of the week into the amount that it should be, so that it applies to your statement properly, right? So you have to pay off a certain amount for that month. It splits it up for you. It's got to say exactly that, weekly allowance. It's got to be a weekly. Instead of $50 a day, we'd now be looking at $50 a week. You don't have to use that. You could just do daily or other options. But all right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give Beyond Budget a try, and thank you for watching.